DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Swing for the Fences show, talking some baseball. Only 5 games on this slate. And man, this is one of the chalkiest slates I've ever seen. Not all slates are created equal. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I don't think it's a great slate, but hey, tons of money to be made. The prize pools are big as always. Excited to see what these two got to say about this slate. But man, it's you know where the chalk's going to be. That is for sure on this one. Hope the early slate's going well for some people out there. I saw a 6-game early slate. JSU, Holden, DC broke down that earlier. Hoop, I'll throw it over to you first. How's golf going on day one? I know it's a no-cut event. How's that going? Anything else going on in your world? What's going on?
Yeah, everything's going well. Yeah, golf kicked off today. Obviously, no cut event, and it's hard. I know it's hard not to tilt, but the one rule I've learned in PGA DFS is no cut events. Don't even look at the leaderboard, or don't look at the DraftKings or FanDuel app until like Saturday, because honestly, it really none of it matters like at all. So paid a little attention to it. Our guy Tony Finau 6 over today. That's a little hurtful, but Rory's up top. He's 4 under, a lot more holes to go. So yeah, we'll see how that whole thing shakes out. The guys had you covered on the early slate. JSU, Holden, DC. We're here to cover this small 5-game slate. We were joking before the show, this might be the quickest show of all time. Really not many ways to go. We'll obviously cover it and dig in as deep as we possibly can, but when Title throws out the number for likes, you might want to get on it quick, because we might be running out of time, because there's just not a ton to talk about on the slate.
Yeah, I'll be generous with the likes, and we appreciate everyone tuning in for this 5-game slate. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to prolong a show just to prolong and talk nonsense. We'll just cover it as we usually do, have some fun throughout. But there's no way this slate's going to be we're going to need an hour to talk about this slate. Man, got to give you some credit yesterday. The Mets, absolutely great call there. I saw you help make some people some money. It was a great game, 9-7. First at bat for Beatty, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. A home run. That was really cool to see. His family was going crazy. It's getting fun in the MLB. You can feel the playoff atmosphere in a lot of these ballparks. So it's good time. Good call on that yesterday. What's going on, man?
Yeah, it was fun. I jump on and do the Run Pure Bets PGA show here on the RPS
I saw
channel.
You typing away. I saw Lindor, so I tuned in and I just wanted to see you typing away with a smile.
I did. I typed in the chat. I saw the Marte, Lindor, Beat. I got them all when I was basically just on the show. So it was nice to get off the show and be like, wow, we're already off to a hot start. So was not bad. Man, PGA, I agree with you. Let's not tilt PGA, but can I tilt Luke List? The dude has lost 7.6 strokes putting so far. The dude's not even done with his round. Like that's insane. But I saw that is tough, but it's like, man, like I know people are like super hardcore tilting this, but like
when you roster Luke List, like that is exactly what you are signing yourself up for. He is the worst putter, and at this rate, he might break records. I don't know what the records are, but it is. I mean, he has like birdie putts that are not far. He's making bogeys. It is insane.
Yeah, it's wild stuff. I see a lot of people. I haven't like watched his round, but I've seen people talking on Twitter about it, and it seems like that's what's happening. I just pull up the strokes gain numbers, and I'm just like, how have you lost this many strokes putting? It's just absolutely wild to see, but pretty funny. But yeah, it's a no-cut event. That's why we roster these cheaper 6K guys, because it gets you all these guys at the top, all these really good options, get you the Morikawas, the Schefflers, John Rahm, Rory. So that's why you do it. Because hey, they're going to play all weekend long. We're going to gain points even on Sunday, even if there are like 20 over. So PGA, don't sweat it too much right now. Then we got MLB. We had some day baseball. I didn't play much day baseball, but let me tell you, this is a really interesting slate. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, how, the Cal Quintrell chalk was probably not the best chalk. At least that's what I said. I talked about it a lot in the Discord chat. I don't know what that cheap chalk is going to be today, but one of them has to come out, right? Or maybe it ends up just being Darvish and DeGrom are just really high owned. And maybe you just have to find one of these guys to make it like a low owned pivot. So it's going to be interesting to talk about. I don't want to just go to pitcher and be like DeGrom and Darvish and move on, because like we do have to find something else. We are going to have to like kind of like dig through the mud and figure this out. So maybe the show will go 25 minutes instead of 20 minutes because we maybe spend some time doing that.
Yeah, I mean, man, I'm definitely excited to hear what you two got to say, because I mean, DraftKings pricing, like FanDuel did a much better job for sure with the DeGroms of the world and stuff like that. But 10-3 for DeGrom, 9K for you, Darvish, like, I don't know. I mean, we can get right into pitching. First, I want to say hi to a couple fellas in chat. Who do we got today? We got Richie Smalls, Gator Nation, Bill Miner, Nick, Tim Allenwood, Michael Johnson, Maul, Rance, Kevin. Kevin's giving you some props, man, going. You've been on fire recently. Sean V, we got Yeezy, Peter Yalley, Matthew Moore, Shannon. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us on this slate. Hoping to make you some money on this slate. I saw someone in chat said, is this a good slate for satellites for NFL? I mean, I think every slate's a good slate for satellites. K Falik always, the overlay king, always talks about a lot of those satellites don't fill, so it's always good to hunt around that or hunt around for the overlay.
Title, they might not fill today, right? Because like people are going to see this slate and be like, dude, I like lost in day baseball. I don't want to play again. Or like they're going to look at this slate and just
maybe
be like,
a showdown preseason they'll go to NFL.
Yeah, there's other things, and also another thing too, like. People put their money like Monday through Wednesday, their PGA money's still there. Now their PGA money's a little locked up. So it's definitely matters a little bit. So look for the satellites tonight. Those could definitely be open. We don't got K Falik on the Up the Lock show for you. So make sure to be doing your due diligence and see if there's any satellites that open up for you. Yeah,
definitely. I'll check the satellites. So yeah, I mean, the thing, so we'll go right into pitching, but how I see this slate, and I think how everyone sees this slate, is DeGrom, you Darvish are just going to be mega chalk, and rightfully so. I mean, Jacob DeGrom, this dude is just different. Like, it is insane. The drop off from him to the next best pitcher in baseball, like it's unbelievable what this guy does. Like, we don't need him to go out there and throw 100 pitches and stuff. He can get it done in 80, and it is crazy. 10.3K is a joke. FanDuel did a lot better job, like I said, pricing him at 12K. Then there's you Darvish. I mean, we're just going to talk about all these pitchers right away. There's no need to break it up in tiers. There's Max Fried at 8.5K against the Mets, Frankie Montas at 7.3, Barrios at 6.7, Luis Patino at 6.7K. I mean, who is it just going to be lock in DeGrom, lock in Darvish? Obviously, it's the chalk. Can you get different at pitching? I mean, talk about what you're doing on this slate, man.
Yeah, I mean, Mangone said he didn't want to come on here and say just played DeGrom and Darvish and move on, but that's kind of what I'm going to say. Like,
that's what I was going to say too. So I'm excited what Mangone's got to say.
I mean, I think when you start making cases for other pitchers, you're just making cases for other pitchers, and DeGrom is, you have to play DeGrom. Like, no matter what, I think DeGrom is just an absolute stone lock. The pricing is stupid on DK. Like, why even put him at 10-3? Like, well, what's the point? You might as well just make him a free square. I mean, it's so stupid. So he is a stone cold lock in every single format. I mean, you just look at the last couple of games, hasn't broke 76 pitches yet. 35 fantasy points, 36.3 against respectable offenses. I mean, he wasn't playing like the Tigers or the Marlins. I mean, this was the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Tonight he gets the Braves again. Just lock him in. And then, Darvish, the price is just not very good. He's at home against this really bad Nationals team. Their team total is 2.5. It's just hard not to play those two guys. Now, who do you play if you don't want? Like, I'm just saying DeGrom for sure. You don't want to play Darvish. Where do you go? I don't know. Like, where do you go? Is it Max Fried? You play DeGrom and Fried together and hope that it's like a 1-0 ball game, which it absolutely could be. But the path for you, Darvish, over the rest of these guys, it's just such an easier path for him to get the job done. He likely gets run support here, as the Padres are the highest projected team total on this slate. So, long story short, I'm going DeGrom, I'm going Darvish, and just, thinking that's going to be the winning combination. I just don't see the case for really anybody else. Max Fried, okay. Maybe Patino at 6.7K, but man, like, he's not going to go deep. He's been, he just come off the injury, or he just got called up. Yeah. When was he up here last? July 23rd.
He's been good in the minors, but it's the Rays. Like, he isn't going to throw 85, 90, 100 pitches. Like, I hope he gets 75 from them or whatever.
Give me DeGrom and Darvish.
Yeah, definitely agree. And there's always cheap bats. We still got the Italian Nightmare, Vinny P, 2.3K. Like, there's still so many cheap bats where it's not really hard to get those two. I see a couple people in chat like talking about weather concerns in Atlanta or possible delay and stuff. I'm not seeing anything. If you see anything, Hoop. I know we've seen it the last 2 days. We've seen a delay. The starting pitchers came back after, but I'm not seeing anything.
I think it's just the standard Atlanta weather where they just typically have a lot of pop-ups in the area. If one of these pop-ups lands over the stadium, there's a delay, but usually it's a pretty quick delay, and then they just get right back to playing. So I'm not concerned about it. And you definitely don't want to fade Jacob DeGrom because of potential pop-up storm. Like, I'll tell you that much. Like, your night is likely over if you fade DeGrom. So not factoring that in whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
He could pitch 3 innings and still be like the optimal pitcher, like, he's great, based on these other guys.
That 9.5 strikeout prop, he's just absolutely out of this world. So fun to watch. Man, you said you didn't want to just say DeGrom and Darvish. I'm curious what you're about to say. 2 pitchers I want to bring up because I saw chat bring them out. Josh Winkowski against Pittsburgh. I don't really have interest there. The one I think is more interesting, JT Brewer-Baker. Saw a couple people talk about him. But man, I talk about it. You said you didn't want to say those two. Hoop and I are just saying those two. So I'm interested in what you're about to say.
Yeah, I can talk for a while, Title. So I'll find a way to.
Love it.
Let's dive in and discuss some stuff. So first, DeGrom and Darvish, I agree. Yes, they're 2 options that you want to be playing on this slate, but how many people are going to have them together? It seems like a lot of people are going to do that. Now, how can we be different? You can do it with your bats, but my problem is, what bats are you able to do it with? So this is when I think it's great to be signed up at SaberSim, right? We'll do a nice little promo here. Go to SaberSim, lock in Darvish, lock in DeGrom, and just see what it does. And when you do that, here are the 5-man stack exposures that I'm seeing. I got 22% of the stack. So 68 of the 300 teams I just ran literally 2 minutes ago. They're Boston Red Sox 5-man stacks. So that seems like the team that when you play DeGrom, you play Darvish, a lot of people are going there. The next one up are the New York Mets. And let me tell you, the Mets against Max Fried, yes, it's Max Fried's first start back. So that could be encouraging, obviously, because there's a lot of unknowns there, but it's not like Max Fried gives up a ton of power. Are you that confident in the Mets? Then we got the Pirates. There's 16 5-man stacks of those. Then we got the Kansas City Royals. Are you excited to play the Royals in Tampa Bay? It just gets really difficult. Then you have a Yankees stack that slips its way in there somehow, and I don't even know who's on it. It probably doesn't have Judge. And then there's 2 San Diego stacks, and good luck with those San Diego stacks having, Juan Soto probably on it. I don't know what they're going to look like. You probably have to go all those Padres and then maybe some 2K guys to make it work. But the point I'm getting at here is your teams, if you are going to do that and you're going to jam in those big bats, you are going to have to you're basically going to have to spend a lot of money on those big bats. You might not get them in there. You might not get Judge. You might not get Soto. So it's just something to think about when you're rostering your teams, and you're going to be on a similar path than other people. So we have to at least think about what can we do with some of these other options. Now, Max Scherzer ended up being on the winning lineup last night, which I was actually surprised about. After kind of he had that rough inning, I was like, yeah, maybe he doesn't end up on that winning team, but he ended up being on that winning team. And why is that? Well, the strikeouts were there. So who are the strikeouts that we can attack? I don't think Luis Patino is the guy. At first, I was kind of a little intrigued by him just because I thought Luis Patino, 3.5 strikeout prop is not great, but the projection didn't look too bad around the industry. And I was like, okay, it's Kansas City and it's a good ballpark, but how long is he going to go? So now I'm thinking maybe I want to attack strikeouts. Where can I attack strikeouts at? I don't feel super confident with it with Max Fried against the Mets. I do kind of feel confident in it with Frankie Montas, as crazy as that sounds. If you look at Frankie Montas's numbers, he has all his struggles against lefties. What lefty are you scared of in the Blue Jays lineup? There's not many, right?
Is Tapia in there?
Tapia,
big boy Tapia in there?
Yeah, I don't even know. Is Tapia in the lineup?
He's not.
He's not in the lineup.
Not in
Fuck yeah! All
so
right.
look at that. You don't even have to be scared.
They don't have one lefty in that lineup.
So the point I'm saying is Frankie Montas, maybe he goes out there and maybe he gives up 3-4 runs, but could he get 6 or 7 strikeouts along the way? Yeah, I think he can. And that might be enough to give you a little bit of a differentiation on this slate. I mean, we've paid $9K for Frankie Montas in the past. Look at his numbers between righties and lefties. There's just a huge difference. I think Frankie Montas is definitely a really good option that I'm going to consider.
Are you concerned about pitch count at all? I mean, he hasn't really been fully extended as of late. That was my only.
Yeah, but like, I mean, what am I going to do at this point, right? Like, I mean, it's that or like, I don't know, Luis Patino and all these other options. Like, I just gotta figure something out down low.
Fair enough.
That's all. Like, if you're playing 10 teams, I don't think you should just push all DeGrom and Darvish. I think you should be considering other options. It's just a slight way that's going to make you different right away. You just got to pick, is it Darvish or DeGrom to make that one fade on? Yes, I'm going to have teams that have both, but I am going to look at teams too that just go one of DeGrom or Darvish and then one of these cheaper guys. It probably won't be this Max Castillo guy. I don't like what I'm seeing with him. The ballpark is encouraging, but just don't think it's necessary. You can make the case for Berrios because he can really handle a lot of righties well, but there's enough Yankees lefties that I like in this lineup where I don't think I'm dying to play Berrios. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the winner, but I don't think he's a guy that I'm going to look to go to today. The cheap guy that I'm kind of considering, it's between JT Brubaker and it's between Josh Winkowski. And here's the argument I'll make between both. I think Winkowski is the better option for me because he's going up against Pittsburgh. We know Pittsburgh can literally strike out against anyone. I mean, we saw it against Rich Hill yesterday. I know BigT was talking in the chat with one of the members. He said, why'd you play Rich Hill? His strikeout rate's low. Well, the Pirates strike out a ton, right? So I think Winkowski is kind of interesting, and maybe I can sell Hoop on this. I just remembered. Hoop, let's do the game log check, right? Winkowski, when he's played bad teams, right? Kansas City, bad team, 17.1. Milwaukee, Baltimore, they're like more middle of the road. So, I mean, I won't count those. Cleveland, they're more middle of the road. Tampa Bay, I know we like to pick on them. It was in Tampa, so that was encouraging. 13.9. Yankees, good team. He was bad, negative 3.4. Cubs, bad team, 19.3. Like I said, we'll keep Cleveland out of it. Detroit, 14.2. Oakland, 18.3. Like when he plays bad teams, it's worked out. So I think I'm going to take a shot on Winkowski. I think he's really interesting. The only reason I'm considering Brubaker more than him is because, well, if you look at all these DeGrom and Darvish teams, what do? They play Boston Red Sox. So how much leverage are you gaining with JT Brubaker? A lot more leverage in some of these other opportunities. So I think for me, my pitching pool right now is looking to be DeGrom and Darvish is the top two. Then from there, I think Frankie Montas is like the strikeout upside guy I'm looking at. The leverage guy is JT Brubaker. And the guy that I think could be really interesting based on the matchup, it's Josh Winkowski. So that's kind of my overall pitching breakdown for you there, Tyler.
Yeah, that was good. I appreciate that. When that Hoop, anything you really want to add? I mean, I get it for sure. I would say my third favorite would be Brubaker. I think if he is pitching well, I think he will be extended. I think he will go long enough. This Boston team is not nearly as scary as they were in the beginning of the year. But with all that being said, like I'm just going to be playing Darvish and DeGrom. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to take my chances tonight on those two being the highest scoring pitchers on the slate. I know DeGrom's going to be number one. I mean, I'd put that number at almost like 90%. Like he's the number one in terms of fantasy points. I'm just going to bank on number two being Darvish. I don't want to play any of these other. I just don't want to, and I don't have to. I mean, you have, what is it, 19? You plug in both those guys on DK. still have over 3,800 per spot, one punt, and you're back in the 4K range for the rest of your roster spots. Like, you're not sacrificing anything to play who I think the two top pitchers on the slate by a wide margin. So
you're not sacrificing anything. You're building the same like lineups as a lot of other people. That's the only argument I would say. Like, you better really make sure that like you're getting different with those bats, whether it's the mini stack, whether it's like the main stack. That's, I think, the thing you have to really hone in on to make sure you're not doing. So I think that's a really key point.
Yeah, no, if you play these two and then you stack the top of the Padres lineup, you're playing the same as everyone else. I mean, to me, we'll talk about when we get into the stacks, we always talk about the easiest way to get different is just to go to the bottom of the lineup, do wraparounds, focus on guys 6, 7, 8, do stacks like that. If you are, hand building, and the optimizer, it's going to take a little more work to get stacks that are unique, but and a lot of times people still don't stack. So you have an advantage kind of built in that way as well. But yeah, certainly if you play DeGrom and Darvish, I mean, a large percentage of teams are starting that way. I agree with you there. So you have to just be more cognizant of what you do with your offenses.
Yeah, no, 100%. You guys are both make a lot of good points. Yeah, DeGrom and why am I blanking? Darvish are going to be solely. I mean, both of those two in a lineup are going to be so popular for sure. So you cannot just play 1 through 5. You cannot just play the punts that everyone's going to punt. We're going to get into bats very shortly.
Yeah, and that's just where one more thing. Like, that's just where it's super annoying with DraftKings. Like, especially, I mean, I'm not saying they need to go and digest like every matchup, every slate. But like DeGrom at 10-3 just ruins everything. Darvish at 9K ruins everything. Now, if those guys are 12K and 10-5 where they should be, then playing those two is not as popular. The fact that they just botch these prices so much, tonight you're really battling offensively and not at the pitcher position as far as I'm concerned. Even if Darvish isn't the second best pitcher, okay? Is he going to get blown away by Winkowski in terms of fantasy points? Probably not. Is he going to get blown away by Max Fried in terms of fantasy points? Probably not. Is he going to get blown away by Montas? Probably not. So regardless of what you do at pitcher, this slate's going to be won or lost in terms of what you do in offense. For me personally, I don't think pitcher really matters tonight.
Yeah, no, it is definitely different approaches to take. If you play those two, you do have to be cognizant of what you do with bats, and we're going to talk about it. Hoop and I are mainly just going to be eating that chalk, so we're going to have to get different elsewhere. Mangone's fine just playing one of them and picking someone else, and he can get more chalky bats. So we're going to go through game by game like we always do. Let's see, we got 330.
Title, before we go, it's worth mentioning like what contest you're in, right? Like some contests, like it makes more sense. Like when I do my single entry stuff, that's going to be probably Darvish and it's probably going to be DeGrom. That's my assumption. And then if you're playing like these larger field stuff, that's where it's like the spots to sometimes be a little bit different. So it depends on the field as well that you're playing in and like how much money is up top. That always can matter at times. If you're in like more of a shorter contest where it's, basically like 100-man field, well then, yeah, like DeGrom and Darvish can make a little bit more sense where you can just find one small pivot to kind of make yourself unique. So those are definitely things to think about too when you're building out your lineups.
I got a quick follow-up question though, because you think about single entry and you think about the 150 max big tournament. 150 max big tournament, what? Let's just say DeGrom comes in at 70%, Darvish 60%. I don't know what it's going to be. If that's what it is in that though, single entry, you could see DeGrom at 92% and Darvish at 80%. So what are your thoughts on that? You're still, it's easier to get different with less people. You can get a different stack that'll be 2%. Instead of a 25%. But what are your thoughts on that? You'd still would be more fine eating the chalk and smaller field, different with bats like that, or
it's interesting. It depends what approach you want to take, right? And how top heavy the prize pool is up top. That always matters as well. Some people they like take the approach in single entry. Well, if guys are going to be even higher on there, I'm just going to go ahead and like fade that all the time. And then like in the long run, I'm going to they say I'll be profitable when those slates don't hit, right? Like it's like the K Phallic type slate when like in, basketball, like let's say it's like a 400 scoring night. Likely Phallic's not up there as much because he likes to take some stronger stance sometimes and some lower owned stuff where then you can see on like the nights where it's like a 330 winning. Well, then like Phallic's up there. So those are the approaches you can take in single entry. You can either make those small slight pivots where you might like min cash more, you might not. You might have some more opportunities at the top, but there's more people to compete with, or you might have less opportunities, but then when you're up there at the top, and like something big like a DeGrom happens to miss it 90%, which again, I don't think it's DeGrom is the one I fade. I think it's Darvish, but whichever one you decide to fade and it doesn't hit, that's where you'll have less people to compete with at least. So that's kind of some of the differences between like how you can approach single entry. It always depends on the slate. I mean, every slate is different. And like, I always like to look at what is the chalk and decide what is worth fading on it and what's not, and then kind of approach it from there. Like Quintrell yesterday was a reason that I like to do it. Like I was like, I don't like this chalk on this slate. Those are my favorite slates. When I see guys that I just think are chalky, that I don't think deserve to be. And I don't think that's the case for DeGrom or Darvish. I'll at least say that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely a different slate than the past two with only 5 games and the clear chalk at pitcher. That is pitcher on this slate. You know where the chalk's going to be. You don't play one of Darvish or DeGrom or both. If you want to do that, you will be completely different. I wouldn't worry about what you're doing with bats. Let's see. We got 345 watching, 124 likes. I'll set the number at 200. I mean, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Thursday. We want to get you the plays of the day for this 5-game slate. So 200 likes, 75 more should be very easy. You got to shout out some members though in the members never win segment. We got Jerker won 1,100 in PGA, Michael Smith 20,000 in PGA, Simo 14,000 in MMA, Dante 4,700 in MLB, and then Simo again 35,000 in MLB. So congrats to all of you guys. If you want to be on the segment, again, we have a spot in Discord, a channel in Discord. Drop your screenshots in the members never win segment. You have a chance to be on here. And then we do have that promo code going on right now. NFL 15 gets you 15% off for the rest of your life if you don't cancel. Mangone brought up SaberSim, the great optimizer that we are partnered with. That is also included in this promo as well, which is not always the case. So a great deal over here. NFL right around the corner. Got some preseason tonight. Rubio's always on the playbook. Big T's always in the streets. Kurt, a lot of coordinators in the streets. So check out that. MLB, of course, the Up to Lock show will be going on as always. See DC's on and stuff. So great time to be a member. Pay-per-view this week in MMA. Golf going on right now. NASCAR has been hot. Great time to head over to Run Pier Sports. NFL 15 is the promo code. 15% off. All right, let's go game by game on this slate. First game on the slate, Toronto Blue Jays, the New York Yankees, Jose Berrios and Frankie Montas. 81 degrees in New York. So this is an interesting one. If we're playing hoop, I'm going to start with you. You and I are playing DeGrom and Darvish, so we have to get different at bats somewhere. I think Judge is going to be uber popular. I do like the Yankees a bit, but like I can't get Judge in my Yankee stack personally if I am playing Darvish and DeGrom, because I think that's just going to be too chalky. Maybe you have a different approach. You can still get different elsewhere, but I think the bottom of the order on some of these guys, Cabrera's free, Florio's free, Benintendi probably will get some ownership, but there's Glaber, Donaldson, Grand Slam yesterday. I have some interest in these Blue Jays though, because I don't think they're going to be owned. Their prices are a little more expensive. Guaranteed ninth inning at bat. Yankees, great hitters park, 81 degrees. It's a great lineup though. They can turn it over all the time. So Blue Jays are one of my favorite stacks on this slate because they're going to be unowned. I'm eating the chalk at pitcher personally. Talk about this game though and how you're approaching it.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a 5-game slate. And, you know, if this was a 10-game slate, I'm probably not playing this game at all. Like this game is a cross-off. If it's, you know, a 12-game slate, it's definitely a cross-off. But we only have 5 games and there's some uninspiring matchups and offenses on the slate. So have to come here begrudgingly, I guess, is the best word, because I don't really want to. The Yankees have been cold, and yes, they scored 8 runs last night, but 4 of those came on a grand slam in extra innings. So to me, they still scored 4 runs, which continues a cold streak for them. Does that grand slam get things going for them? Yeah, maybe, but man, I don't want to play the Yankees, but probably have to because of the guys in their lineup. Judge, Rizzo's been solid lately. Donaldson had that big hit. You get a cheap guy in Oswaldo Cabrera, 2K, and you can play him at second base or shortstop. Benintendi has a respectable price tag, and then you get a catcher at the bottom. So I think, you know, even if you do play DeGrom and Darvish, you can stack these guys, but you're going to have to play some of these dudes at the bottom. You're probably going to have to play Oswaldo Cabrera. You're going to have to potentially look at Trevino, Florial, 2K in the 9 hole. So probably going to have to come and play some of those guys, which I'm fine with. In terms of, you know, stacks, you know, Padres, I think, are the clear top team. They'll be the highest owned team, you know, whatever. They're in the best spot. I think you have to play them tonight. Yankees, I don't know. There's the 2, 3, 4, 5 for me are just all similar, and Yankees are one of those teams and the Blue Jays are another, just because of the offense and what it can do. You got guys like Springer, you got guys like Guerrero in Yankee Stadium, tons of power. Gurriel has been solid. You get a catcher in Alejandro Kirk, Teoscar Hernandez, Bichette. You got Chapman back in the 7 hole where I like him for fantasy purposes because people tend to not play him. And then, man, what the hell happened to Whit Merrifield? He is just like awful. Like last year before, I mean, a very solid guy, just, looking at fantasy stuff. He is just like so bad now.
I mean, it was so much better when he was on the Royals because they love to run so much and those stolen bases were there. And Toronto just doesn't run as much, which definitely hurts some of his output. But now that we're saying this, he's going yard.
Oh, bomb Stadium tonight for sure. He's hitting a bomb with like 3 steals and 4 runs. Like it's definitely going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to be on, both sides of this game just by necessity. Like you have to. There's only 5 games on the slate. Again, like I said, if there's 10 games, I'd be fading this. There's no doubt about it. But I'll be here for sure. And if you do play Judge and you're playing those top pitchers, like you said, you're going to have to come to the bottom of this lineup by necessity. You have 2 full punts, and then you have Trevino at catcher, who's cheap as well. So yeah, I'll be on this one.
Yeah. Mangone, Blue Jays, Yankees. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I feel okay about fading the Blue Jays here. My only worry is like if there's like a spot that like the weather's probably like the best today, I think it's this one. I think it's the best like hitting environment technically. So, but again, it's not like a huge lean that way. It's not like ridiculous. It's not 100 degrees of wind blowing out. It's only like 80 degrees with wind slightly blowing out. But Blue Jays, I think I'm going to end up fading today. I am going to play Yankees, who obviously brought some good points to the Yankees. My reason for liking the Yankees, one, Berrios, where's his massive struggles? It's against lefties. If there's one park where Berrios doesn't want to face lefties, it's probably Yankee Stadium. And Yankee Stadium is definitely a good ballpark here. These left-handed bats can get the job done. You got guys like Anthony Rizzo at 5K, Benintendi at 3.9K. And the thing that's nice is these Yankees 2K guys that you can put at second base or shortstop, Oswaldo Cabrera or Estevan Florial, well, they're 2K, they're lefties in a good ballpark. And like, it's like, if you got these guys to have big games, when would their big games happen? It'd be against probably who? Jose Berrios, who is absolutely terrible against lefties. I mean, it's just clear. So I love getting those lefty bats in there. Obviously, you can put Judge in there because he can hit anyone. Josh Donaldson, he had that big grand slam last night. I think we always like try to like spin the narratives our way that we want to like talk it out. I think Hoop says, there's a chance they could be cold. I'm spinning it in the way that I'm just saying, hey, I hope maybe that sparked them. Maybe that got them going here for sure. It is a Josh Donaldson revenge game against Toronto. So I guess we got that going for us as well. But overall, like, I think because like I agree with what Hoop said, if this was a 10-game slate, I probably wouldn't love this game. But because it's a 5-game slate and we're looking for options to go to, and with the value on the Yankees and some of these power bats, it lines up really well for a good Yankee spot. So I like the Yankees a ton here. They're definitely going to be a team that I get exposure to tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you build your lineup today in tournaments and you feel comfortable with it and you think it looks sexy, you're doing something wrong. I would recommend rebuilding because on a 5-game slate like this, with so much where the chalk is so concentrated, especially at pitching, talking about the Padres, it's a game theory slate. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, and that's what's gonna get you to the top of the leaderboards. You play for first place. There's our prize pools nowadays are so top heavy. You got to do something to get different. So yeah, interesting game. I think this is it is my favorite game of the slate. You can game stack it again on a 10-game slate or yesterday's slate. If this is on it, probably not too much interest, but every slate is different. So Yankee Stadium, great hitters park, Blue Jays, good lineup. Yankees got some cheap ones down below. It's my favorite game. And yeah, it doesn't feel very good, but hey, if it busts early, just get to bed early. You're dead early. You don't have to wait and stay up late. Next game on the slate, Boston Red Sox, Pittsburgh Pirates, Josh Winkowski, JT Brewer-Baker on the mound. Right back to you, Mangone. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to have a little bit of interest in the Red Sox, but again, I am slightly concerned about the Red Sox just because if I look at some of their prices, like, Tommy Pham, Devers, they're going to be a little expensive. Verdugo's at least a nice value at 3K. Xander Bogaerts is too cheap at 4.3K. They have the Arroyo punt that could work, but some of these like expensive guys, like I just worry. I don't know if I want to like jam them in for sure, especially against Brubaker. Like I said, I think Boston's going to be kind of like a higher owned offense today. And if I think they are a higher owned offense, I'm going to think about it a little bit, at least with those Darvish teams, right? Not saying you want to fade them completely. I'll probably have them on my content. Maybe I'll mix them in as a mini stack more so, but like, if you end up going and you play like Darvish and DeGrom and then like a 5-man Red Sox stack, I don't think you're like, getting off the board there. I don't think you're, you better find a way to make that different or find a way to make, your mini stack different. Just have to think about the way that you're rostering them. So overall, I like the Red Sox. I think I'll get some Slate exposure to them, but I'm definitely thinking about it and I'm monitoring how things kind of go leading up to lock, like seeing where like kind of some of the ownership is going on some of these bats.
Yeah, I mean, a bat that sticks out to me, you look at it, and I think ownership's going to follow. Christian Arroyo is still min price on DK, 2K flat. Get that second base position. He's been swinging a little hot stick as of late too, for Christian Arroyo, that is. So if I'm stacking Boston with DeGrom and with Darvish, I'm probably not playing Christian Arroyo right there because I do think he will be one of the higher owned ones. He is very cheap at a bad position, so he can just fill it out easily. So you really have to think about little stuff like that on slates like this. Boston, Pittsburgh, what do you like?
Yeah, I think Boston's the team that I'm kind of willing to fade. I mean, I think they do end up getting some ownership here. I prefer Toronto. I prefer the Yankees over Boston. Talk about it a lot, or I just prefer Boston at home. And then I look at this lineup and like outside of Devers, like where is the real upside? So I think Devers in play, Christian Arroyo as a punt in play. So maybe a mini Boston stack. I'm not going to stack. I'm not going to do a 5-man Boston stack. It would just be mini stacks revolving around Devers and Arroyo, and then maybe like, I don't know, Verdugo or something. He's cheap at 3K. I just don't have a ton of interest in Boston at this ballpark with this lineup. Pirate side, I actually have a little bit of interest. I like this Marcano guy leading off, 2K flat. He's showing some upside this season. You got Rodolfo Castro, second base and third base eligible, 2.5K. O'Neal Cruz batting 6, shortstop. I don't think many people will be on him. So I like a Pittsburgh mini stack here. It's very cheap, and I think there's some upside here in these guys. Marcano, Castro, and O'Neal, probably my favorite way to kind of mini stack the Pirates. So like the Pirates mini. Boston would only be a mini stack for me with like Devers, Arroyo, and then I don't know, throw someone else in there, whoever the hell you want.
Yeah, make some sense. I like it. Well, we got 3 games left on this slate. I set the likes way too low. 420 watching, 162 likes. I said 200, so I'm not going back on it, but we appreciate if you smash it. Well above 200 would be nice on this slate. Subscribe button right to the bottom right of that like button as well. Takes 2 seconds. We do appreciate it. 3 games left on this slate, though, so who knows how long it's going to take. Next game on the slate, Kansas City Royals, Tampa Bay Rays, Max Castillo and Luis Patino on the mound. Right back to you in this one, Hoop.
Caught me in a sneeze.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's good. I was letting it rip right as he tossed it. I'm good to go, though, now. The one thing that stands out to me right out of the gate is I wanted to play a little bit of the Royals, but, man, this team total sitting right at 3, which is
it'll get you different if you had a little hunch, maybe a little mini or something.
Maybe it's a boost for like Patino. I mean, a 3 is low. I mean, the Atlanta going against DeGrom, their team total's over 3. So some concern with the Royals, but there's guys here I like. I mean, cheap guys. If you're doing the DeGrom, Darvish route, Massey, 2.1K leading off. Our guy Vinny, who DraftKings refuses to bump his price.
Look at that game log, man.
It's nuts. It's nuts. He just smashes. I mean, even when he's not smashing, he's getting a couple hits, So
for weeks, and he's still been free. What are they doing?
It's been a while. Yeah. So like Massey, Vinny, and then like Sal Perez or something, you get a catcher, high upside catcher. So I like that mini step. Probably won't mess with anything outside of that. I mean, I guess you could maybe sub in Bobby Witt for Sal Perez, but my stacks here with the Royals would be Vinny, Massey, and then one of Witt. But I prefer Perez to be that third guy. And then the Rays, I'm fine with them. I mean, you're going to have to probably play a team like the Rays tonight just because of the nature of the slate. Brandon Lowe, Arozarena has hit some bombs lately. David Peralta is cheap. Batting 4th, but just not a ton of upside with him. I like, some of these teams, a lot of them are more like 3-man stacks opposed to 5. I'm struggling outside of the Padres to find a team that I like for a 5-man stack. So maybe, for me personally, I'm not doing 150, but if you are doing 150 tonight, play the Padres every way possible. and then just mix in a bunch of different like 3-man stacks. I kind of like that route tonight, and hope you hit the right combo. But yeah, a lot of these teams are going to be 3-man stacks, and this is one of them. I struggle to full stack the Rays here. Like Yandy Diaz leading off, I just hate playing Yandy Diaz. I mean, where's the upside? I guess he has had a couple decent games, but it's not like home run upside. It's like he's got to get three hits and score 3 runs, and get some RBIs to really get there. So like Lowe, Arozarena, those were guys that I would definitely have in my Tampa Bay stacks. But again, it's another game where I'm looking at just 3-mans instead of 5s.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's why I like the first game so much. Yankee Stadium, the best hitters park there, 81 degrees, and 2 teams that I'm fine with. Like, I just hate playing teams in Tampa. Personally, I'm crossing it off, but it's a 5-game slate. Like, a team could score 5 runs today and be on the winner. I got a quick question. I'll go to you, and then I'll go to Mango, and then break down this game. Are you still 5-man stacking on this slate? Do you think it's like a 3-3-2? I don't know. My math was probably wrong on that, but like 2 home runs, 3 home runs on a slate, or like getting the right home runs could be enough. I know I'm going to still stack. I mean, that's just how I play MLB. It's the easiest path to get there. But if there's a slate not to stack, this is the one. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, every slate is a slate to stack. I just think it's just the right way to build teams. I mean, I know people have different opinions, but more times than not, if you're full stacking at least one team, you're doing it the right way. I mean, yes, there's going to be slates where all one-offs win. There's going to be slates where 3-3-2 or whatever it is wins, but more times than not, full stack is what wins.
Yeah, I'm with the same page there, man. Go and answer that question, then break down this game for bets.
I think there's going to be one spot as we get further on that I'll discuss that I think is better for the 4-man stack. But I'm still looking at 5-mans. I think that's the correct way to go. Don't constrict yourself on this slate and like run 5 3s or 5 2s. Like maybe mix and match. Like you might run a 5-3 with like the couple teams you want, and like it doesn't work, and then you're like, okay, like, well, I can't do this. And then like maybe you do a 5-2-1 and that one-off helps make it work, and the math just kind of checks out. So that's kind of what I would say on this. Like, just don't constrain things a little too much, because sometimes you can do that. For instance, when I was using the optimizer the other day, when I was playing on FanDuel, I set up a bunch of 4-4 stacks. I looked at like 2 different teams and I wanted to see how it worked. And I said, why do I have 100% Whit Merrifield? Well, I got 100% Whit Merrifield because there's no Baltimore second baseman on FanDuel. So I have to have 100% of them. So then I had to run 4-3-1. So these are things to just like look at, especially on shorter slates when like, things are just different. It's not your typical like 15-game slate with guys at every position. So something to consider when kind of building out your lineups. But what game are we on, title? What
Royals Rays.
Oh yeah. I hate this ballpark. That's one thing, but decent price tags on some of these Rays against Max Castillo. And he's someone that's not, anyone impressive. I typically say don't stack up any Rays on these slates or on any slate and when they're in Tampa Bay, but I'm considering the mini stack a little bit today. I don't know if they'll make the final cut, but just, they have really good price tags on some of these options. They got some good power bats. Like, for instance, if you do like a Taylor Walls at shortstop with like a G-Man Choi at first and like a Christian Bethancourt is like the 5, 6, 7. I don't hate that as a mini stack, but I don't think I'm going to end up loading up on Tampa Bay today. Just don't normally like this ballpark and looking to stay away from this one and go to some other stacks.
I'm with you. Next game on the slate, 2 games left. New York Mets, Atlanta Braves, Jacob DeGrom, Max Fried on the mound. Right back to you, man. Going the Mets whisper. Do you go back at low ownership against Fried? 7 total though, not something we usually like targeting, but hey, it's a weird slate.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the one argument to like play the Mets, and this is the only one I got. Well, I guess it's 2. It's like they won't be owned at all, right? And the second one would be like it's Max Fried's first start back. So like what is he? Maybe something's wrong, maybe velocity is down. I have no idea. Maybe that's a question to ask DC in the Discord, but I'm just considering not attacking it at all. So because of that, I'm just not even looking into it. I just don't think it's too necessary. I understand it. It's a game theory slate, 5 games, but I'm going to do my best just to stay away from this game. It's a 7 total. I saw someone say in the chat, I'm going to throw him for like $1, like a Brave stack against DeGrom. Like, I don't know. I think there's better ways you can spend the money. That's just one of the crazier spots, but hey, I will say DeGrom is the guy that for some reason he goes out there the first 5 innings, he like absolutely shuts them down. And then the Mets bullpen gives up a bunch of runs. So you never know what can happen. MLB DFS is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want the most leverage on the slate, play the Braves. I don't think I'll ever stack against Jacob DeGrom in my life, but yeah, like you said, he's not fully extended. He's not going to throw 100 pitches, so you hope they get to the bullpen, but it's a no for me. Who?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not playing any Braves. I see no reason whatsoever to do that. And then in terms of the Mets, it's 5-game slate. Fried coming off, first start back. Pete Alonso, Marte, Lindor. I would just do a premium 3-man stack of the Mets. If you want to go there, you don't have to. It would have to be making over 20 teams, I think, before I'd come here. But a really concentrated 3-man stack of those power guys, I think is where I would be looking. It's just tough, with Darren Ruff. He's batting 5th, looks appealing, but Vogelbach will be in that game when a right-handed pitcher comes in. Same probably with Kana. He'll probably get pinch hit for. So I'd focus on Marte, Lindor, Alonso if you want to go. Or you obviously don't have to. So that's kind of where I'm at here.
Makes some sense. Last game on the slate. First, we need 7 more likes, 450 watching. I definitely set the bar too low, so surprised me. I'll look back at the end. I know you guys were going to get it done, but let's make a push. I'd appreciate like 230, 240. Should be very easy. We'd appreciate it, but we'll get you the plays of the day, assuming you get those 7, which I know you will. And that big red subscribe button, we always do appreciate it. Last game on the slate, Washington Nationals, San Diego Padres, Anibal Sanchez, Darvish on the mound. I mean, man, Anibal Sanchez is so cheeks, but I'm playing Darvish and I'm playing DeGrom. So how can I get to some of these Padres? Now, yes, there's always ways to get different. So we don't have this lineup out yet, do we? Yeah, just came out right when I said that. Grissom, Soto, Machado, Drury, Bell, Cronenworth, Myers, Kim, Nola. I mean, Grissom's probably get ownership. Soto's, I don't know. Talk about that lineup and how if you're going to get to the Padres with those two, what are your thoughts on this? And then I assume no Nationals.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not playing any Nationals. Team total is the lowest on the slate. I mean, you got DeGrom on the mound, and the Nationals team total is the lowest. Just looking at this lineup here, if you try to stack Soto, Machado, Drury all together, you're not going to be able to play those top pitchers. Josh Bell, so you're going to have to come to the bottom. Will Myers is 2.6K. Batting 7th. Kim's 4-1. Yeah, it's tough. You're gonna have to play. I guess that's why I'm kind of forced into playing teams like the Pirates tonight and the Royals tonight. I'm fine with that. So everyone in this lineup is playable. If you are playing the two top pitchers, DeGrom and Darvish, it is a little bit difficult when you go to stack it, but that's going to be my goal, to play DeGrom and Darvish as much as possible, and then full 5-man Padres stacks as much as possible with 3-man stacks, and then one-offs, whatever it may take. But I want to be overweight on every bat in this Padres lineup. It's the clear best spot. Good matchup against Sanchez, and then the bad bullpen right behind. I'm assuming Will Myers now becomes pretty popular because he's really, I mean, you look at this lineup, he's the only. Oh, Grisham's leading off. I didn't realize that. So no Profar. So Grisham's probably ends up being one of the more popular bats on the slate. Has to be 3-3 on DK, and then FanDuel, I'm sure he's like in the mid 2s. He's 2.9. Yeah, so he's gonna be the most popular bat probably on the slate. Now, so him up there makes it easier. I was just assuming it was Profar up there, but him up there makes stacking the Padres easier. But I'm going to play everyone in this lineup, and 5-mans for sure as often as possible.
I wish they had, or we just got that Washington lineup too. I'm not even going to read it off because I don't think people are playing it, but it did just come out. Let's see. We do have Bell in there. I was hoping Drury was going to be third base still with a Machado and Drury question, but it's Drury way more expensive than Josh Bell. And I think Josh Bell, 900 difference. Expect Josh Bell to get more ownership than Drury. So I think that's a little way. If you got to get different, you always got to think. If you're playing these Padres, you're playing the pitchers, you got to think how you can get a little different, especially with your mini stacks. Then go and take it away.
No, I mean, that's one great point you just brought up. Like, if you play Brendan Drury over Josh Bell, that instantly will make you different, I think, in your Padres stacks for sure. So one thing I think that also is important to note with this new lineup change, like the addition of Will Myers over a guy like Profar, I think for one, Hoop is right. Grisham does come in higher owned, but Will Myers actually helps make these Padres stacks work a little bit easier, because before Profar was in that, like, I think he's like 4-7. Well, now you have a $2,000 in salary to be able to make these Padres stacks work. So maybe these 5-man stacks work a little bit better. One thing I was looking at before when I was dealing with Profar as the projected guy was I saw that on SaberSim, more 4-man stacks popped up. And I thought the 4-man stacks were kind of interesting as like a way to be different. If you do a DeGrom, Darvish spend up with a Padres stack, I thought the 4-man could be really intriguing, just so you're not like just jamming in a bunch of these like 2K duds and you get a little bit of extra salary to make that work where it evens things out. You can still do that if you like, but Will Myers definitely helps make it a little bit easier within your lineup. I will say, if you play the Padres and like you don't play Trent Grisham or Will Myers, you're really different right away there too, because those two value outfielders are going to be, at least one of them is going to be on most of the Padres stack. So those are ways to think about how to make your Padres stack different on this slate. You can easily play them. They're a good play. I'm sure I'll have exposure to them on this slate, but I do think that Will Myers value definitely has helped make things a little bit easier. And yeah, overall, these guys at the bottom are like a Kim at 4.1K. I think he's another guy that can help make it different too. So think about that when you're kind of building out your lineups. Make sure you're not just jamming in Grisham, Soto, Machado, Bell and Myers, right? I mean, I just think at that point, if you're playing that with DeGrom and Darvish, like, then it's just like you're going to play a bunch of 2K guys and you're just going to be like mixing and matching with a bunch of other people who are doing the same stuff.
Absolutely. There's no better slate. I mean, slates like this, it's a game theory slate. You always have to think about being different. You don't want to be holding hands with a bunch of people. That is all 5 games on the slate. So let's get into our favorite stacks. Then we'll get you the plays of the day. I assume you guys got the likes. If you haven't hit it, we appreciate it if you smash it and smash that big red subscribe button. But favorite stacks, we'll go top 3. My favorites, I'm going Blue Jays, Yankees game stack. It's where I'm putting my chips in. Mangone, what are your top 3?
We're not kicking the Padres out?
No, if you're playing the Padres, you're playing the Padres. I'm not kicking anyone on a 5-game slate.
They'll probably end up in there, but again, I'm just gonna have to make sure to make it different. Padres are probably like the best stack on the slate. I think my favorite one to get to that I think is gonna be like a little different, I guess, is the Yankees I'll go with. So I like that Yankees stack a lot. And then my third favorite stack, man, it's definitely rough down here for the next one. I guess I'll probably put Boston in there, but I'm going to strictly keep them as 3-man stacks. Probably not as many 5-man stacks for me on the Red Sox.
Makes sense. Hoop, top 3.
Yeah, Padres, always possible. 5-man's, top to bottom for sure. I'll join you with the Blue Jays. I mean, just after talking through the slate, it's just, man, I'm gonna be on more Blue Jays than I had anticipated. And then one I actually really like is this Pirates little 3-man stack with like Marcano, Castro, and O'Neal Cruz. I really like that little 3-man. So Pirates mini.
Well, of course, I look at my phone. Play of the day yesterday, homers today, nothing new. Another day. I don't know why.
The flop leg.
Yeah, every single time. It never fails.
Play of the day, flop leg.
Yep. Let's get into the plays of the day. Man, I mean, the one thing, flop leg, plays of the day always work. And then what's the other thing that always works on this show? You talk shit about someone, they go off. So Whit Merrifield is my play of the day. In that
let's go. Yeah. Gosh, dude, have you I mean, look at the game.
I have.
The game log.
Everything you said, I mean, I like the Blue Jays.
I got to intervene. I don't think you can go there. I mean, can I veto a really bad play or no?
He does have BVP title. It's like 8.
Does he? All right, now we're back on.
I'm not even a BVP guy though, so that's the last.
I'm trying to find something that you can argue with. I
wanted Hoop to keep talking, man. You know how the show goes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Here's the fantasy points: 3-3-0-2-3-2. And then there was a stretch of some scores, which I'm assuming was when he was with Kansas City. But man, it's a rough stretch. All right, well, I've talked a ton of shit, so you know what's happening. Now we just need Mangone to talk shit, and then it's gonna increase the probability of a big game for Whit.
No, you did enough for everyone. You started the show talking shit. You ended it. I like the Blue Jays. 9-hole. He'll be 2% owned on this slate.
4K,
yeah, 4K. I mean, everything that lines up. We know how this show works, so sometimes you got to go with it. Mangone, I'll head over to you. The sweet Travis play of the day. Who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going over to another former Royal. So we're going to go with my boy, Mr. Andrew Benintendi. He doesn't have a home run in a Yankees uniform yet, but this is the day. We get the home run from Benintendi against Berrios, who's absolutely terrible against lefties. We'll get the notification in the chat. We'll jump it in the Discord chat. 3.9K, Andrew Benintendi. He hits a bomb in Yankee Stadium in that short porch.
Oh, this is getting even better. Before I get to hoop, we got Benny Boom said Witt is a horrible play. Appreciate it. The more people say that, the more I like it. But I like even more, Adam G, if Witt scores over 10, so that means he has to score 11, 10's a push, I'll send $100 to Mango. What? You didn't. All right, man, to Mango. Nice. You can get it. Adam G is going to send you $100 at the end of the slate. So drop your Venmo in there, or if you know him in person, you know all that. Give him that Venmo. Adam G, I'm holding you to that. I love it. And of course, he said man going late. Man
going, also, who was making fun of Benintendi in the chat? Who was that man?
No. Benny Boom said horrible play for Witt. I don't know if anyone was making fun of Benintendi. You wish someone was making. Yeah.
Oh, it was Whit Merrifield. Okay. I'm lagging a little bit, so I got to.
No, you're good. But yeah, Mangone, maybe slide me a lunch. I get you a little free money on Witt because of Adam over there. So book that. Rich Parents play of the day. Who do you got?
Yeah, Rich Parents play of the day. I got to go to Pittsburgh. I've been talking them up quite a bit. I'm going to go with my guy, O'Neal Cruz, 3.9K, shortstop eligible, batting 6 tonight. I got O'Neal Cruz hitting a bomb for us. Rich Parents play of the day.
There we go. That is all 3 plays of the day. Man, we had this show pretty good. We got about an hour talking about this slate. It was a fun show. Talked a lot of game theory. Adam G says he'll hold me to it. So I assume you guys know each other in person. Mangone, if he does that, you better be all over him because he said that. Maybe send me lunch, like I said. But fun show. Make sure to check the Up to Lock show. See where DC and the guys are going to go on this slate. Core plays, cash chart, playbook, all of that stuff up as always. If you're not a member, you're going to need one to see all that stuff, to see the premium show. NFL 15 is the promo code. Gets you 15% off every single month for the rest of your life. SaberSim is also included. Head over there. Make sure to check. Make sure if you do join to get in the Discord, you will definitely like it. I can guarantee that. But fun show. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope to see some RPS logos up top. Hit that like button. Hit that big red subscribe button on the way out. For Hoop, Mangone, Simon Behind the Sticks, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.